let's get started. So just a brief introduction again. Again, my name is Manak Gupta. I'm assistant professor in Tennessee Tech University, Department of Computer Science. My area of research is in cybersecurity, cyber physical security. I work in AI-assisted security, deep learning, machine learning-based solutions for cloud security, malware analysis. Today I want to touch upon how the evolution, how the security space is evolving with the, connected ecosystems with when you have, we are moving from single enterprise to multiple enterprises, and we are connecting, we are federated. We have not single administrator, we have multiple administrators into the system. And of course, with the humongous amount of data that is being generated, and with the proliferation of AI and machine learning in security, how to use them, there is smart malwares, homomorphic, polymorphic malwares. The malwares, you can craft AI-assisted malwares, So AI can be used by the attackers, and AI we have to use as defenders as well. So in today's talk, I'll touch upon some of the key areas that to look upon, and also reflect on what research my group has been doing here, in collaboration with other people around the industry as well as in academia. I'll stick to the plan. I assume I have an hour and 15 minutes, so I am hopeful that I should be able to complete this presentation. Certain things are new that I'm trying in this presentation that I usually don't do in my other keynotes and everything. So there is a video, I have some poll, so things like that. So bear with me if they do not work in the first time, but I'll make sure they do work. Okay, so I'm going to quickly stop sharing my screen, and I want to share a quick video on YouTube that is really interesting to me, that talks about the key notion of why we need to be worried about cybersecurity. And that video will touch upon a very critical issue there. So just bear with me 1 second. Okay, can you see the video? And
we've been hearing a lot about cybersecurity lately, largely because of what happened to Sony. Companies and individuals are more concerned about the safety and privacy of their information than ever. President Obama has unveiled a number of new proposals this week to crack down on hackers, and he plans to address this in the State of the Union speech on Tuesday. And it's great that the government is working on this, but the truth of the matter is we need to do a better job of protecting ourselves. The most popular password in the United States is password 123. And as long as that's the case, we're vulnerable. So today we sent a camera out on a Hollywood Boulevard to help people by asking them to tell us their password. And this is how that went.
We're talking about cybersecurity today and how safe people's passwords are. What is one of your online passwords currently?
It is my dog's name and the year I graduated from high school.
Oh, what kind of dog do you have?
I have a Chihuahua Papillon.
And what's its name?
Jameson.
Jameson. And where'd you go to school?
I went to school back in Greensburg, Pennsylvania.
What school?
Hempfield Area Senior High School.
Oh, when did you graduate?
In 2009.
Oh, great.
It's like my cat's name and then just like a random number.
Okay. Have you had this cat for a while?
Yeah, she was my childhood pet.
Aw. And what's her name?
Her name is Jolie.
Jolie. Mm-hmm. So like a password of yours would be Jolie and then a number.
Yeah.
Like number 1?
Like my birthday.
Oh, when is your birthday?
June 12th.
Oh, nice. And what year were you born?
95.
Oh, great. Mm-hmm. So Jolie, 6, 12, 95.
Yes.
Got it.
So you mean to give my password right now? No, I cannot do that.
But we all want to know what it is so we can tell you if it's strong or not.
Oh my goodness. Let me think. Okay, one is Tel Aviv. Yeah. 468, and then Israel. It's only 3, but it's it's for me it's strong enough.
Ireland, 1234.
Gemma.
123. Spelled Gemma.
Well, most of them are Italian.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah. So like
what's a good Italian password?
my grandma's name,
What's your grandma's name?
Maria.
Maria. So Maria is your password?
Oh yeah, now you know my password. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, the important thing is they learned a terrible lesson.
All right. So did you guys understand the reality? That's what it's the problem. The security awareness is the problem. And most of the when you look at most of the threats, when you look at most of the attacks that have unleashed, it's because our employees, our people are not aware. Okay, they click on random phishing emails. They reveal information. They are too much into social media. And one of the topmost type of attack is through social engineering. So, that's the only reason I wanted to touch upon that video. So let me go back to the presentation. Okay, one more thing I have is I'm putting a link in the message chat. It's polev.com/Gupta. Okay. If you guys can go there and let me activate a poll. I just want to get some inputs from you guys. These are the things I want to icebreaker. Okay, even though it's a 12:30 for me in the night, but I want you guys to be awake as well. So some of the icebreakers from my side. Let me present a poll. Can you guys access to this poll? And let me share my screen as well.
It's asking for some username sort of things.
Oh, it does. It's not giving you access. If you go to polev.com/Gupta, if you can see my screen.
Sir?
Is it giving you access to input the response?
Sir, yes, sir. For the user possible.
Okay, let me just give me a second.
Yeah, it is possible to view that.
Is it possible?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay, good.
That this audience has to give the name as Gupta there. Then only they can join.
Yes. Okay. With Gupta, you can join. Okay, wonderful. It's probably asking for a single word to provide for what you think the most common cybersecurity threat. I can't see responses here.
Sir, my screen is showing that waiting for Gupta's presentation to begin. Okay, okay.
I see there are responses, but I don't know what is. It's it's in white color. Let's see. Settings,
Page. It's switching between either response or waiting for Gupta's presentation to begin.
Let's see. Well, if you can see the presentation is still on, people are able to get into and put in their information. I mean, they're able to respond. So is there anyone having still issues?
I typed weak password. I think I can see the response here in your presentation.
Yeah. Okay. The color scheme is too bad, really.
Yeah, password is actually in white color, so that is.
Yeah, I can see that one. Yep. Say that again, ma'am.
It shows waiting for presentation Gupta to begin.
It's already there. I mean, the presentation is on.
Participants, you can wait for a few seconds there. It's switching between those pages. Sometime it is taking for response, and sometime it is showing that web page that waiting for Gupta's presentation. So if you will wait for, I think 10-20 seconds, it will show you that page.
So do you see the live change? You know how that word cloud is changing?
Yeah. I can see few words which I have typed there. So yes, response is there. Yeah.
Okay.
I think now it is working.
Okay. Okay, let's give you know 10 more seconds if everyone can input that. Okay, so let's stop this one here. I'm going to lock it here right now. So let's look at the responses. So if you look at the responses, well, the password is what it seems to be the most common cybersecurity threat. Although I do not assume password to be a cybersecurity threat, it's if you're thinking from the perspective of, hey, your password would be stolen, yeah, but there needs to be a threat. There needs to be a malicious software, for example, that needs to be inserted into your system that can work as a spyware or can exfiltrate your information to an external command and control. Okay, one of the important things that I can see from here is somebody mentioned ransomware, right? Now, ransomwares are wreaking havoc all over the globe. Especially, I'll tell you about an incident in US. There was recently SolarWinds. Have you guys heard of SolarWinds? You know what happened in SolarWinds? There was a and there was an attack on Colonial Pipeline. So Colonial Pipeline is it's a gas pipeline, a petrol pipeline that goes all the way from the south, from Texas, all the way to New York, the northeast part. And that pipeline that is critical for the U.S., supporting the oil, supporting the gas in the region, and they got attacked. Okay, and what happened is these most of the time these are all ransomwares. You inject a ransomware. Ransomware is what? Ransomware is you ask for ransom. You disable their systems. You pretty much seize their data. You encrypt the information, and then in exchange of providing the decryption key, you ask for bitcoins, okay, some digital currency, and so on, right? That is term that these malwares, these ransomwares, are one of the strongest security threats. Not to mention, of course, these passwords, stealing of your sensitive information, stealing of PII. These are absolutely critical. So this is the most security threat. Okay, let's look at the second one. All right. Can you guys see this one? With security in mind, before making a post to your favorite social media sites, you should consider whether what? The post will increase your following. The content you are sharing is something that your near or dear ones want to save. You are providing inadvertently, you are providing information against social engineering, or you are going to be flagged for spreading misleading information. With security in mind, my question is with security in mind. Okay, 10 more seconds. Okay, let me lock it here. So of course, when you're providing too much information on social media, you're making yourself susceptible to social engineering attacks, right? Social engineering is based on your publicly available information, or based on different smart ways from the adversaries. They are trying to get the information from you, right? There could be tailgating. There could be, the video that I showed you. That's a real attempt on social engineering. You're trying to get information, sensitive information, from individuals, and we are not aware enough to not divulge that information, right? And that's not just, the video is not to any particular demographic. That's a global truth. Okay. Let's move on to the next question. Reasons for growing cyber attacks. reasons for growing cyber attacks. Customers' personal network details, unawareness, financial data, vulnerability, technology. Very interesting answers. PSL, SSL, awareness again. Sensitive data, login dependent credentials. Okay, 5 more seconds. You guys are spreading this cloud forever. Seems we do not have a consensus, huh? Interesting. So, unawareness. Okay, let me lock it here. Okay, let me lock it here. So let's look at our responses. Competition. Okay, I think that's a very interesting take. Competition. We have a peer competition. We want to bring down our networks. I mean, there is a, you know, well, I mean, I guess 2 weeks ago, Facebook was down, Facebook, Insta, and WhatsApp was down around like 2 weeks ago. And I think they lost a good chunk of money, probably $6 million or something like that. So of course, you know, you can bring down the competitor's service. That's interesting. Awareness, as discussed in the video. Technology, of course, technology is very important. I mean, interestingly, nobody mentioned about connectivity. Okay, IoT, AI, machine learning. You know, you're expanding your attack surface, right? With IoT, the more smart devices you are using, mobile phones, smart watches, wearable devices, you have Alexa at your home, or you are using a smart light, smart bulb, smart fan, smart windows, smart door locks, anything, right? You're moving to smart farming where you have sensors deployed. You know, this is, you know, pretty much expanding your attack surface, right? So that's one of the growing reasons of cyber attacks. Okay, let's move on to next question. Okay, let's look at this one. Let's see who to blame. Most of the attacks against your organization's network are successful because I knew you guys are going to blame IT. Okay, that's not the case though. IT has not installed the softwares. Your computer software is not up to date. People like us are tricked into performing an action that lets the attacker in, and the hackers use state-of-the-art computers. Okay, 8 more seconds. We need to have all inputs, guys. Okay, so let me lock it here. Of course, you know, we are tricked. You know, we are humans. We are lazy. We like shortcuts. We have fatigue. We want our default passwords of our routers to be password 123. You know, it's us. I'll show you a picture later in the presentation. And let's look at the final one. A one-word PII you are most worried about to be leaked. You understand PII? PII is the personal identifiable information. Are you worried about any PII that would be leaked? And one word about that PII that you are most worried about that would be leaked. Okay, number, PIN number, account details, social, probably Aadhaar card number, zip code. I don't believe zip code can be a PII. Date of birth, your financial bank details, password, okay. Mobile is not a PII. It does not identify you. Okay, 5 more seconds. Okay, so let me lock it here. So basically, you know, passwords, account numbers, date of birth, Aadhaar, these are some of this information. Probably PAN number is another information that you don't want to be leaked about, okay? So let me just stop this one here. I hope you liked this exercise. This is the first time I've tried in an invited talk. So, well, let's go back to our presentation. Just give me a second. Okay, so let's. Well, here I'm going to throw some stats on how we are vulnerable. You know, as I was telling you, ransomware is a real and existing threat. You know, starting from 2016, you know, San Francisco transit system got knocked down, and you know, the attacks on you know, London, in Maryland, in Texas, in US. So there has been instances, you know, where you know, we are getting attacked. Our 911 services got shut down, and you know, in one instance, as I was telling, the county services were knocked down. They were asking for bitcoins. The county did not pay for the bitcoins, and they eventually ended up at $18 million to basically bring up their systems. Now, one of the easy solution was just to have a backup. Okay, that was the only solution that they needed to have to bring down their services. Hey, you took the data, okay, well, I mean, data breach happens, but again, to bring back to the service, they should already have a backup to their systems, to their data, and they would have been, back to service immediately. Now, this is very common. Let's look at the recent attacks on the Indian infrastructure. Okay, according to Niti Aayog, phishing and social engineering attacks form 57% of all, followed by malware. Okay, so see the phishing and the social engineering. Okay, that's like 57%. Social and the malware attacks are 41%. Spear phishing, DOS attack, and so on. These kind of attacks that are very common in in Indian ecosystem. Okay, the PwC report that half a dozen fake versions of PM Care website was set up during the COVID times. Okay, and June 2020, hackers based in China attempted 40,000 attacks on Indian banking and information technology sector. So I was, I was talking to some of the financial experts in another keynote, and they were talking about, they specifically wanted me to address the financial cybersecurity aspect of it. So I think these guys are very worried about, how their systems are brought down and so on. And 67, that's an interesting take. 66% of the organizations in India pay ransomware. Okay, what is the average cost of a cyber attack in India? That's around 20 crores. Okay, 20 crores INR is an average cost, even to small or probably a medium-sized enterprise. Okay, that's how much they pay to basically bring their services back if they are attacked, or they lose that amount of business. Okay, now again, who is the loser? We are the weakest links. Okay, in the recent WannaCry ransomware epidemic, the human factor played a very critical role in making businesses worldwide vulnerable. Okay, as I was discussing, why is that the case? Because humans suffer fatigue, right? We during the last hours of our working day, we are just too tired. Okay, we make mistakes. Humans are prone to make mistakes. There is nothing new about that. Humans forget. We forget. We put sticky notes with a password and put it on our table. We forget our systems to be logged out. We forget our flash drives on our tables, and those are all the attack vectors, right? And then we love shortcuts, right? We want our passwords to be password 101 or password 103 or 12345. Okay, so humans are the weakest link. If you plug in that link, you have enough awareness in your organization, you can stop a lot of these nefarious attacks. And mind you, attackers are not using the smartest of the machines, but they are, they know where to attack and when to attack. Okay, they do have the resources, but I do not believe that they have the most of the finest of the infrastructure to attack us. Okay, so it's they know our vulnerabilities, they know where we are prone, and we go from there. Now, if you look at talking about all of this thing, I understand cybersecurity is you can consider cybersecurity as an elephant problem. Okay, it's a cyber elephant problem. So the parable of the blind man and an elephant explains how the cybersecurity solution is envisioned when different people are trying to figure out the solution to enterprise level security problems. Okay, basically, if you look at, if there are blind men trying, touching upon the different parts of the elephant, they will try to make a different sense of it. Okay, some part they will say, hey, this is a spade, or hey, this is a brick wall, or something, right? Similarly, that's the case with cybersecurity. Okay, we are too many people trying to solve a problem. Everyone has a different perspective on it, and we go from there. And usually, cybersecurity industry do not really have the tendency to share. I mean, now the industry is coming forward to even reveal that, hey, there was a data breach, or this is a vulnerability, let's patch it, and so on, right? Earlier, and even then, even now, the industry is too reluctant to even address or even accept that, hey, there is a vulnerability, this needs to be fixed, and this needs to be patched. And in cyber, this elephant is not just, I mean, it's a polymorphic elephant. Okay, it keeps on changing its shape and color and size. It will come in new forms and so on. Well, let's look at where we are in terms of the cybersecurity professionals, right? I mean, look at our the shortage of cybersecurity professionals worldwide is going to be $3 million, or 3 million, right, globally. And look at the Asia Pacific part, that's around 2.14 million positions, the biggest shortage, right? We need our professionals, we need trained individuals to kind of safeguard our our critical infrastructures, right? And we need skilled labor, we need skilled professionals, we need we need individuals, special programs that are rolled out. I understand there is a national strategy for AI by Niti Aayog that talks about how Indian government is rolling out some of the programs. And actually, I had a presentation at the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs with the Smart City Mission, and I was talking the same thing about, hey, we have a smart city. Actually, right now we are still not having a smart city, but even what we call is a smart city, which is actually, we are heading to a smart city. They are worried about the cyber attacks. Now, when look at the implications and ramifications of a cyber attack, when you are a totally connected grid, where there would be sensors, there would be smart infrastructures, there would be different services connected together. You need to basically have an air gap between all of these critical services, because even if one is attacked, you need to make sure that not the entire system is collapsed, right? So we need to produce these individuals who can really plug in that gap. This is one of the reasons why the cybersecurity instances are growing. I mean, there is no denying the fact that IoT will be a key player. Talking about Industry 4.0, talking about the different use cases. I mean, look at the number of devices that we are going to have by 2022. That's like more than 500 billion, right? And the global IoT spending would be more than $15 trillion by 2025. I mean, that's a humongous number. Now, the more connected devices you are having, that means you are exposing your attack surface, right? And if you look at the IoT, the use cases are everywhere. We have the smart power grids. Every day we wear an Apple Watch, and for fitness tracking. There is a big push on smart farming and precision agriculture, where you will be spreading down your sensors in your field, and collecting the data and making an informed decision. And that's a very critical thing, especially for countries which are heavily dependent on agriculture and similar ecosystems. A coordinated kind of a cyber attack, which actually is called agro-terrorism, can really bring down the entire economy of a nation, right? And then you have like smart and connected cars, you have intelligent transportation. There is a concept of, I mean, I understand there is a big push on electric vehicles from the government of India. Think about if the electric charging station gets a ransomware, right? and then every car plugs into the electric charging station, that ransomware gets propagated. And essentially these electric charging stations and the vehicle itself is on Linux based systems, right? And there is a good literature to reflect that how Linux based systems can essentially be attacked by these malwares and and all these malicious softwares. So as we are expanding our IoT use cases, we are making us more vulnerable. And that's what essentially is this proliferation of IoT devices is, the concept of bring your own device. All of these are essentially making the Internet of Things to Internet of Evil Things. Expanding the attack surface, bringing. Of course, you're trying to make our life easy, right? You're trying to make us connected. You want to give us information in real time. But at the same time, you are expanding it too much that you need to protect at all its connections and at the different layers of the stack of this connected ecosystem. Again, on a lighter note, in a smart home, it's essentially, where we have these IoT devices, it's not just the IoT, it's the Internet of Ransomware things. Okay. And during the COVID time, this is the most funniest thing. You give me $50 or I'll tweet out. So, I mean, well, these are the laws of attackers. Okay. And we need to understand that, we need to sit upon that, and we need to think. Okay, we need to think of how these attackers are going to unleash on us. Okay, well, I mean, attackers will exist. You will be attacked. There is no denying the fact that you will not be attacked. Okay, consider that you will be attacked. Attackers have sharply escalating incentives. Of course, they look for money, they look for fun, they look for terrorism, they look for espionage. And attackers are from state-sponsored actors to the script kiddies, right, who do not even have resources. Okay, so I mean, I know people who just for fun, they bring down services. Of course, there is a concept of ethical hacking and stuff like that, but there is an incentive for them. Attackers are lazy. Okay, they will always follow the least resistance path. Okay, attacks will escalate, but no faster than necessary. Of course, the attacks will go on, they will escalate, they will use the state-of-the-art technology, but again, they are lazy. They will always follow the least resistance paths. Okay, if they want to attack an organization, they will probably go from the clerk side and inject malicious software that will proliferate to the admin to get the root privileges into the system. Okay, attackers are innovative and stealthy. Eventually, all feasible attacks will be manifest, right? There are zero-day vulnerabilities, so you always find zero-day vulnerabilities, right? Zero-day attacks, right? Now, how you find them? Because attackers are innovative. They look into the loopholes, into the the vulnerabilities into your code, right? And attackers are copycat. If they know an attack, they will try to do the same attack again, and they have asymmetric advantage. They need only one point of failure, right? As the defenders, we need to be vigilant at all the times, but the attackers do not need to be, right? They attack at their own will. The attackers don't play by the rules, right? The defenders, we play by the rules. We have protocols, we have policies, we have an organization that have a structure that needs to be followed. Hey, if I get a phishing email, I need to report to my information technology systems, to my ITS, that, hey, this is what has happened, what is the protocol, and so on. So, there is an imbalance. What I call is, attackers' advantage and the defender's dilemma. Okay, so I'll talk about the cybersecurity landscape in general, and then we'll delve into where I work on and what are the different things that we have done. So if you look at the cybersecurity landscape, it's basically the objectives. Objectives are high-level objectives. There could be abstractions. There could be formal objectives as well. Okay, objective is, these are basically done by the management of an organization, right? You have English level objectives. You define like, hey, this is what I want to secure, and we define policies and against what kind of attacks, right? And why we want to secure, what we want to secure and why we want to secure, right? And mechanisms are how you will do it, right? You will protect it. You have preventive mechanisms, and then you have a detective mechanisms, right? You can prevent that attack to happen, but in case you are not able to prevent it, you should still be able to detect it, right? If there is a malware in your cloud system, and that was stealthy enough to get into your system, uh, that's fine. The damage has been done, but to limit that damage, not only you just be able to prevent it, but on a live environment, in a production environment, you should still be able to detect it. Okay. And they work in tandem, they complement each other. Protection and detection mechanisms complement each other. And the objectives is you enable and enforce them, and for the attacks is you respond, and then you defend them or you respond against them. Okay. Sometimes you get an attack. There are certain ways where you can attack back to your attacker. Okay. Offensive approach. Okay. Cyber operations is what we call for that. Now, my research, my area has been in looking at the policy side, what needs to be attacked, what needs to be protected, and how it needs to be protected. Okay. I have worked, my area of research during my PhD was on access control, defining formal security models in different security domains. I worked extensively on attribute-based access control. Probably you guys have heard about discretionary access control, mandatory access control, role-based access control, and my area was in attribute-based access control. So that is a protection mechanism. And then I moved on to machine learning and AI-based malware analysis. So where we are currently working on detection, and how we can detect whether there is a malware in the system, right? There are different ways we can do that. I'll talk about it briefly in my presentation. Okay, so yeah, this is basically an overview of the research thrust that I work on. The different application domains that I've worked on is in cloud computing, IoT, smart cars, ITS. The technologies, the security technologies that we have used is access control, policy, formal models, AI, machine learning, and so on. And then the different platforms, OpenStack. OpenStack is a cloud orchestration system, right? You can have your own cloud OpenStack. You can deploy an OpenStack in NIT SICKM to have students work on a cloud environment. And then AWS, Azure, Google Cloud, and Hadoop. Okay. Let's look at some of the work that I did in cyber physical security. So with respect to cyber, anyone having any questions so far? Okay. I'll talk on the cyber physical security, the cyber physical systems security that we have worked on, and we have my group has worked on two systems: intelligent transportation, connected cars, and smart farming. Okay, so we worked on developing some security solutions for these. And again, if you want to look at my papers, you can go to my website at www.manakgupta.com, or you can visit my Google Scholar page. That should have the most updated versions, or shoot me an email. I'll be happy to direct you to the relevant paper and so. Okay. Okay, so what is a cyber physical system? Okay. Cyber physical system is basically characterized by a physical asset your smart objects, your machines, and its digital twin. Okay, it's a digital replica. It's basically a software model that mimics the behavior of the physical. Okay, so we got a question, how 5G communication would impact on cybersecurity and cloud security. I think that's a very important question. You know, as we are moving towards 5G, there has been a humongous amounts of research on how we can make sure 5G is secure, and especially when it comes to you know, medical field, where we have seen how you know, professionals, practitioners from UK are able to perform a surgery in US, and especially in intelligent transportation, where 5G is going to play a key role in real-time communication between different vehicles. So you know, 5G will be a revolutionary technology, and of course, you know, I think you need to make sure it's appropriately secure. I particularly do not work in you know, at the network level communication side, but to my understanding, I think that is critical. You know, we need to make sure that 5G is fully secure, especially when its applications are directly impacting, in some cases, the human lives as well, right? You don't want somebody to remote the to freeze the car steering in the middle of the road, right? So, you know, before you actually unleash that to the general public, we need to make sure that that communication channel is fully secure. I hope that answered your question. Any other question? So, okay, so you know, so again, you know, cyber physical systems. The digital twin is actually it's a, you know, in AWS, Amazon Web Services, they call it it's a device shadow. It's a virtual object of the physical object. Okay, it tried to mimics its behavior of the physical object in the virtual environment. And let's suppose, and another advantage is, you know, for example, I'll give you an example of the smart car. Is if your car is moving and you cannot really assure, you know, moving through different terrains, different geographical regions, you cannot really ensure that it is fully connected all the time, right? Now the digital twin does the magic, right? If, let's suppose, a remote mechanic is trying to access your engine data, okay, now, and it is not able to access the real-time data because your car is not connected, it's not having the internet, right? Now it can still get the information, the last reported state, from the digital twin, and the remote mechanic can also issue a new command to the digital twin. Okay, now as and when the digital twin gets connected to the physical object, they can share the information, they can sync their states, and the life goes on. Okay, that's the real idea behind this digital twins. And you know, and actually, in one of the recent papers that we did, we are showing how digital twins can really help in limiting, in ensuring data security. Okay, usually what happens is one device has one digital twin. Okay, now, but that device has multiple functions, right? It is getting multiple data points. Now not all users want to have access to all the data points, right? Now what is the solution? The easy solution is you split the digital twins, right? One device can have multiple digital twins, and the users can have access to different digital twins based on their access rights. So that's a easy solution to kind of, you know, address this problem. So again, smart cars ecosystem, there would be, you know, this is what I envision of a smart car ecosystem. Multiple clouds and fog systems, they will be connected. There would be remote mechanics. You can connect to your DMV. There would be fog and edge systems. You know, some applications need real time, You know, if there is an accident on road, you don't want a notification to be 5 minutes down the line, right? You want an immediate notification on that. If there is a blind spot warning, if there is an ice threat warning, right? If there is a deer on road, you want immediate notifications on your car, right? So, you know, those are real-time systems, okay? And sometimes you are okay to have a latency. For example, you know, these connected systems are not just safety and assistance, they are also providing information and entertainment, right? Imagine you are going on a highway and a nearby gas station sends you a message on your dashboard that with a full tank of gas, you get a cup of coffee free, right? Or nearby Sagar Ratna sends you some coupons to your dashboard and directs you to that location, right? You know, these are some of the applications that you envision from this connected ecosystem. But smart cards ecosystem is fundamentally different from a usual IoT system because this is a highly mobile system, right? Your devices are not static, they are continuously moving, and that means their interaction between the other devices is not static. You know, they have a dynamic pairing. You know, they come across different other vehicles, they will interact with them, they'll move on, right? There is no predetermined trust level, right? A lot of the applications are location centric. I mean, you don't want a notification from Sagar Ratna that is 100 kilometers away. You want a notification from a nearby restaurant, right? And these are time sensitive applications as well. So, you know, bringing together all of this, this is a very critical time sensitive system. And not to mention that these smart cars are more than 100 million lines of code, heavy software reliance, all the critical infrastructures, transmission control unit, uh, and engine unit and other are very critical. You know, they need to be totally air gapped and sandboxed. You cannot make sure you cannot, and you know, you don't want that your entertainment system, if somehow compromised by even a flash drive, is eventually resulting in your engine being compromised and froze, right? So these needs to be sandboxed and completely isolated. So it has a broad attack surface, and there are a lot of untrusted entities that the car is going to interact with. So the usual cars or intelligent transportation that used to be in silo is no more in that case. Okay. So these are the security and privacy requirements. Again, I think I touched upon a little bit on that. You know, the V2X fake messages. Okay, I'll discuss what are the fake messages. Okay, so if the vehicles, if the idea is that vehicles are exchanging information, okay, there is a V2V, V2I communication. In I is the infrastructure. For example, a smart light can send information to a vehicle. Okay, or if a pedestrian is crossing the road, that vehicle will automatically get the information like, and these are, I'm talking about our semi-autonomous vehicles, right? And that can be fully autonomous vehicles, right? Where the humans have totally no control on how the vehicle will react. So there is a information exchange. Now, how do I trust that information being shared is correct, right? Some adversary can really jump into our system or control some already vulnerable smart car and then start sending fake messages, right? So you need to make sure that kind of thing is ensured. Now, well, so what we did in one of our work was we proposed a concept of dynamic groups. Okay, so dynamic groups are basically, we categorize the wide locations into smaller groups. I'm talking about the geographic location. Okay, and as the vehicle move from one location to another, it gets assigned to different groups. Okay, group is basically a conceptual way to bring together entities which are having common interest into a group. Okay, And that ensures that the relevance of alerts and notifications, and that ensures that the information being shared is to a level trustworthy. Okay, so how this happens is, if you look at the yellow circle, the group is, if I want to make sure that my vehicles should adhere to a speed limit, I can make sure that as soon as the vehicle gets assigned to this group, they are automatically sent a notification that, hey, there you need to make sure it's a 30 speed limit, there is a flood warning on, and there is a road threat warning on, right? So as they keep on moving, they get a different set of notifications, and they can inherit their information, and they can make an access control decision on that. That solution is basically a cloud-based solution. Now, next we moved on to edge-based solution. Edge-based solution, as I suggested, they are more relevant into real-time, decision making. We cannot always afford the latency of being in a cloud system. Okay. In that case, what happens is, the usual V2V and V2I communication is, it's a peer-to-peer. Vehicles exchange information with other vehicles. Vehicle exchange information with infrastructure. Okay. Now, what we are doing is, again, a simple solution is, we are introducing edge infrastructures down our geographic region. Okay. What we are doing is, let's suppose I want to make a city smart. Okay. Now, smart city means there needs to be some smart infrastructure down the road. Okay. And we are using that smart infrastructure down the road that is trusted to make sure a real-time V2V and V2I communication. Now, what happens is, every information gets, so if a vehicle A is trying to send information to vehicle B, there is no direct communication. All communication will take place through the a trusted infrastructure. Okay, instead of a direct V2V, I'm doing every information through this trusted infrastructure. Now, this trusted infrastructure basically ensures that the message is coming from a trusted source. If there are security policies that needs to be complied, this trusted infrastructure will comply them and then forward it to relevant vehicles. Okay, so all of my work is done at these trusted infrastructures, and these trusted infrastructures are not just one. There are multiple trusted infrastructures that can be there to support this real-time V2V and V2I communication. We implemented this work using AWS, Amazon Web Services, and if you want to know more about this work was published in IEEE Transactions in Services Computing in 2021, and if somebody is interested, I will share you the information. The paper name is Secure V2V and V2I Communication in Intelligent Transportation Using Cloudlets. So you can look at that paper. The next paper is on smart card, the smart farming. Again, this is the conceptual idea of smart farming. What is smart farming? Okay, we have smart devices. Then they are in some way equipped with some kind of connectivity, RFIDs or other kind of sensors. Smart tractors, some barometers, moisture sensors, soil sensors. We have drones, UAVs, and so on. Then there is a local network, right? All of they are connected to a local edge gateway. Edge gateway basically relays all the information to a cloud gateway, to a cloud. The cloud processes the information. A remote user can access, request, request the resources and respond. Okay. So basically, this is the entire multi-tier architecture, which is also reflected in this figure. Okay, we have cloud layer, we have edge layer, we have physical devices. Then there are different networking technologies. Now, since there is a big push in smart farming architecture and the smart farming, I think we need to make sure that our community is equipped to use these services, and they are aware of the cybersecurity implications of these services. So basically, we published a paper in IEEE Access on talking about the cybersecurity aspects of the smart farming, and we kind of provided a taxonomy of different attacks that can be unleashed. Our group also worked on different attacks. We had a denial of service attack in smart farming infrastructure, and cloud-based attack, and then malware injection in IoT systems, and so. So this is again a taxonomy of different attacks, which we basically categorize into data attacks, networking attacks, supply chain attacks, and so on. And these are the open challenges. If somebody is interested to work in smart farming, we provide a categorization of which way you can head to. Again, the work in smart farming is in very infancy stage. We see a lot of interest in the community. They are working on different solutions in there. But again, security is still taking a back seat. So if you are interested, in this, probably smart farming is a wonderful area that you want to start with. So again, this paper is published in IEEE Access. If you want information, you can get it from my website that has the information there. Next is I'll briefly talk upon. So I have 10 minutes, Dr. Mishra. How is 10 minutes, right? Yeah, I mean, I assume I have 10 minutes. So I'll skim through some of these slides. Okay, so next is to work on, we worked on, AI for security and security for AI. Now, these, I mean, technology is at an inflection point in history. Okay, I'll take 10 more minutes. Okay. AI and machine learning are advancing faster than society's ability to observe, and understand them. They are, we are using AI and machine learning in different critical systems. The aim is to make the world safer and more affordable, environment friendly. But on the other side, they introduce cybersecurity challenges, that can have real impact on the public and the private life. Okay. So basically, we worked on how we can use AI and machine learning for security. Okay. Now, when we say the AI systems need to be secure, right? Now, what does it mean to be secure, right? Additionally, AI techniques could change the current asymmetric defender versus adversary balance in cybersecurity. Okay, we need to respond in real time. We need to respond in warp speed. We need to be accurate. Okay, we need to prevent from adversarial attacks, right? So all of these things come into play when the AI and when the marriage of AI and machine learning takes place. Okay. Well, I always, I mean, it's a holy alliance, and a holy alliance we don't know. A lot of research is happening when using deep learning, machine learning, security. At the same time, we are also making sure that the AI systems that are making the decisions are trustworthy or explainable. Okay, we need to understand. We don't want to keep the AI assuming it as a black box. Okay, we need to have a reasoning of why AI reacted in such a way. And if you watch Netflix, there is a movie, a documentary on Netflix from MIT, Coded Bias. Okay, I was just watching it today before your lecture. Wonderful documentary how AI has been used. I mean, AI and machine learning basically is dependent on the data on which it is trained, right? If your data is skewed, your AI system is skewed. And we as humans, we have our own biases, right? So we need to make sure that the security for AI, the trustworthiness, the explainability of AI is also there. Now again, I don't want to talk about the stats of AI. We are all well aware the hype on AI, the footprint it has. The AI will grow by $108.6 billion industry by 2025. 72% of the business leaders really want, they are using AI in one way or the other, and they assume it to be a game changer. Okay. A lot of our students get hired, in digital forensics, cyber forensics, in FBI, NSA, and a lot of them are basically using AI and machine learning to prevent or detect such nefarious acts from state-sponsored actors. Now, how AI and security is, how they're working together. So basically, the different cybersecurity firms are training AI systems to detect malwares. We also work on malware detection, and there are publicly available data sets. If somebody wants to work in that area, you can use those data sets. There is a Microsoft data set on Kaggle. Or else, if you want to use our data set, we have a publicly available data set. Shoot me an email, I'll forward you the data set. Basically, and so basically, get the data, and work on this. So what these AI systems are doing are they are automatically collecting the data by referencing of scanning articles, studies, using NLP, and provide insights on cyber attacks, anomalies, mitigations, and prevention techniques. So, what is happening is there is a concept called cyber threat intelligence. Okay, cyber threat intelligence is, let's suppose one of an organization gets attacked. Okay, how we can prevent other organizations in our ecosystem to not be, a victim of the same attack, right? Now, in that case, what they do is a cyber threat intelligence. Cyber threat intelligence is you share the information about the cyber threat. Now, what information you share is the TTP. TTP is the techniques, tactics, and procedures. Okay, what technique an adversary used? What were the different tactics? What was the attack vector? What was the vulnerability into the system? What are the signatures to look at? Okay, which are the critical resources that attack basically hampers, right? So basically, you exchange that information. So AI has been very instrumental in basically collecting that, scanning that information, and sharing it with the relevant stakeholders. And the common use cases, as you can see on the slide, is malware identification, threat detection, proactive responses, changing landscape, better spam and phishing detection, and so on. Okay, and this is another a quadrant. So basically, you can see, you guys can see this, right? Okay, so if you can see here, the fraud detection, malware detection, intrusion detection, scoring risk in a network. These are basically the 5 highest AI use cases for improving cybersecurity. Okay, and I mean, that is, basically the use cases are spread all across, but these are the most widely used, the highest potential use cases of AI for security. Okay. Now, again, there are two areas: security of AI and the AI for security. Okay. In AI for security, basically you can have it in 3 or 4 subcategories, enhancing the trustworthiness of the systems. AI based reasoning aligned with cybersecurity basically could make a fully automated systems, and semi-automated, fully automated, they're having human in the loop, and that can make systems more trustworthy. So if you look at the two potential areas in this domain are the creation and the deployment of more reliable software systems and identity management, access control systems, and so on. If you look at the autonomous and semi-autonomous security,